Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cool Tech Tips and Tutorials. Today's video is going to be about how to set up flaps using basically any radio in a slightly unconventional but super easy and fast way, which doesn't only allow you to set it up quickly now, but it also allows you to adjust it and modify it very easily in the future. So without any delay, roll tape! Just before we start, it's worth pointing out that even though I am using a Powerbox Core radio, the steps taken in this video are applicable to pretty much any computer radio out there today. So you don't need to have the same radio as me to be able to follow these same very simple and quick steps. Let's start off by creating the actual channels. So obviously we have two flaps and we have two servos. So we need to create one function for one flap. So let's call this one flap left, just abbreviate that. And another one for flap right. Okay, so we need them to control an actual servo. Now again, this does vary radio to radio, so however your radio works, just make sure that you have two separate channels controlled by the same switch, which is what we're going to do now. Control, and we're going to select the same switch for both of them. Obviously, you don't want to have a separate switch for each flap. So instead of going into specific functions to control how the flap works, or going into the subtrim and endpoint as I've seen so many people do, and that, sure, it may work, but getting it right is such a pain. All we're actually going to do is we're going to go into the setup, which may be the AFR in Futaba or any other name. Basically, we're looking for this particular graph. So we currently have flap on one side, middle flap, and right flap. All that we need to do is go down and edit this particular curve. So at the moment it's set to 5 points. Depending on your radio, it'll come pre-established to maybe 10 points. And we're going to change this to just 3 points because we only have 3 points on our switch. So no flap, flap 1 and flap 2. And all that we need to do is set the servo point for each one of those 3 positions. So if we start with the first point, we just adjust that however we want so that the flap is off. Even if you needed to reverse it, you could even do that in here, just take it to the other side there. You'd then have the position for middle flap, just a little bit less flap there maybe. And then you would have full flap, which is this one here. And again, you can just reverse that. Give it as much flap as you want, as little flap as you want. Very, very easy. And you can then go back and change any of those points at any time in the future because you want more flap, you want less flap, the flap isn't right, etc. You then go back and do exactly the same for the second flap. Again, you edit that curve with just 3 points. Start with the first one with no flap. So maybe this one you don't need to reverse it, so that's already the correct position. Middle flap. Just play with it until it looks right on your model, getting the right amount of degrees or millimeters as you need. Do the same on the other side. Set it so as it looks just right, so it matches the first side physically, not digitally. Don't try and match the numbers, match the actual flaps themselves. And that's it. At any point in time you can then go back in and just adjust one or all 3 of those points. Whereas if you try and use certain functions that come predefined in radios, or that maybe you've done it with subtrim and endpoint. As soon as you move the subtrim, it moves all the endpoints, which is chaos. This way you can move one point at any time without affecting any of the others. Easy, and it works with any computer radio. Just find this graph. And there you go, a really quick, easy and precise way to set up all of your flaps on a model without having to go into complicated, pre-established, preset functions within the radio. Just adjust any of the points at any time to get more or less flap as required. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure to like and subscribe, leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. I'm Martin Pickering, and I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to come back every Tuesday for a new episode of Cool Tech Tips and Tutorials, and on Sundays for flying videos and event coverage. Or hit that subscribe button and the bell that's next to it in order to receive a reminder when the next video is uploaded. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.